And new reaction coming in from the White House as the shutdown stretches into day 38. President Trump telling Americans that the flight cancellations are to ensure the safety of every American. And they've got to get that message out there. Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey live from the North Lawn. Peter, how's the communications challenge on this going?
Dana, building off of Grady's report at Reagan Airport just now, this shutdown is not happening in a vacuum. So folks here at the White House say that a chain reaction of negative events has already been triggered.
The impact on the economy is far worse than we expected because it's gone on for so long. And so there are now like Goldman estimates that it's over 1% or 1.5% of GDP. I will say travel and leisure is a place that's really being heavily hit right now. And if it continues to get hit, if the air travel thing goes south for another week or two, then you could say that they would have at least a near-term downturn.
I mean, what do you do about it? President Trump says Republicans terminate the filibuster and bring back the American dream. If you don't do it, the Dems will, and you'll never see office again. The administration is so far complying with the court order to fund food stamp benefits during the shutdown, but folks here are still a long ways apart from Democratic holdouts.
The shutdown is caused by the Democrats, and we're not going to spend $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion on health care for people that came into our country illegally, many of them from prisons and many of them drug dealers and murderers, 11,888 murderers. We're not doing that.
Later on today, Senate Republicans plan to have their first vote in a little bit to try to reopen the government. And that vote is expected to fail because Democrats are banding together. They think that they can squeeze more out of Republicans, get a better deal for the Democratic side if they wait longer, if they enforce, if there is some more pain felt nationwide by the shutdown. And these Democrats feel like they have got the wind at their backs after a good night for their side on Tuesday. Dana.
Thank you, Peter. And more on this, Fox News Sunday anchor Shannon Bream. And Shannon, I feel like they're basically, the Democrats, by feeling emboldened, are playing chicken with the American people. Watch here, Chris Murphy on saying that he thinks it could be solved in 10 minutes.
We didn't have any shutdowns when Joe Biden was president, not because there weren't big disagreements between Republicans and Democrats, but because Democrats negotiated with Republicans. So the minute we have a negotiation, we'll be able to solve this in 10 minutes.
But on the very same day, on the clip I just played with Senator Thune, he said that Democrats can't cave too early or else it'll make their left wing too mad.
Yeah, and he's not the only one saying these things. You've got Senator Bernie Sanders out there saying as much. You know, if you don't extract something out of this shutdown, at the point that Democrats say, hey, our voters feel like we're emboldened, we are out there actually, going toe to toe and making the president suffer and making the GOP pay, these senators are suggesting that if they cave, quote unquote, now by coming to some end of the shutdown, that it may actually take the edge off for their voters in 2026. So they're looking at the political implications of this, while Republicans will say, what about the real people that are hurting? You guys have said that early childhood education, SNAP benefits, all of those things are critical. If that's the case, come back to the table and let's get this thing done.
Yeah, let's play a clip from Dana's conversation with John Thune. Happened a half hour ago. Roll this, number 2.
I mean, these people are scared spitless of their base, and that's what's happening. Yesterday was a bullying session. The far left in the Democrat caucus bullied the reasonable ones out of coming to the table and settling this. I'm still hoping that these people are going to come to the table, and we'll find out soon enough.
J.D. Vance is pushing back on this too, the vice president. Here's he says on X, an aviation emergency will lead to significant travel delays, food stamp, other assistance programs running out for needy Americans, great strains on our military. The shutdowns now pass from farce to tragedy. The consequences of this national emergency fall on every senator and congressman who refuses to open the government. There are conversations behind the scenes. Do you think there is movement in those conversations, or is it too hard to tell?
It's starting to feel like it here in Washington. Those bipartisan conversations that are happening in the Senate, things are trickling out. It sounds like they want to telegraph the two sides, like we are actually trying to work towards getting something done. So that 15th vote today in the Senate on the measure that the House sent over weeks ago will possibly have some other sweeteners to the deal. Will it be enough to flip enough D votes to R to a yes to get you somewhere? Remember, the House is going to have to come back too. What we're essentially told is the Speaker has House members on a 48-hour notice to get back if something happens, but they're going to have to wade through the travel mess like everybody else too.
Exactly. Their flights could be delayed. In other news, President Trump will meet with the Prime Minister of Hungary today. And that man says that President Trump is the key for peace in Ukraine, saying that I still do believe that Trump is the only hope to make peace in the region. We have seen what happened before him taking office. We have seen what has been happening since he has taken office. There's a huge difference between the two situations, when the #1 superpower of the world wants peace or when the #1 superpower of the world is fueling the conflict. So this is going to be interesting because President Trump might bring this up. The top European buyers of Russian gas, the #1 is Hungary at 393 million euros. And that helps Putin continue the fight.
Yeah, and think about the recent sanctions the president has levied on people who are buying from Russia and saying, listen, we got to stick together on this thing or it's not going to be painful enough for Russia to actually move them. So far, sanctions haven't. But the president is very close to Viktor Orban. So do they have a conversation today about Hungary being exempted from this ban on oil purchases out of Russia? I think that's the #1 thing we're looking for to see what comes out of this meeting. Keep in mind, there is still another sanctions package waiting in the Senate with more than 80 senators together, which they never get together, that many of them on any one thing. That would be more sanctions on Russian oil and those who do business with Russia on their oil. So does Hungary get an exemption from that? We'll watch that meeting today.
We'll watch Sunday, too, with you, okay? Ken Martin, head of the DNC, the chairman, is going to be on. There's a lot of Democratic Party come January
Which wing
1.
is controlling things moving forward? We'll ask him Sunday.
Great point. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
guys.
weekend. Bye-bye.